host and Democratic strategist Chris Hahn and Republican strategist Mercedes Schlapp have expert insight into what other surprises we can expect from this race as we approach Thursday's debate. But let's go to this, as they call it, the birther distraction. Look, what's interesting is Donald Trump now has an unlikely ally in this battle, and that's Hillary Clinton. She is also bringing up the TED Talk, as I call it, about the fact that he was born in Canada, in Calgary specifically, to an American mother from Delaware and a Cuban father. Chris, talk to me about this. Is it a mere distraction, or does this thing find legs?
Well, at least Donald Trump is consistent, and if Donald Trump is playing in the margins in Iowa, you know, there were some people who were very concerned about whether President Obama was born here or not. President Obama's mother was from Kansas. We always knew she was an American. He said, and he was born in Hawaii. Ted Cruz, we know, wasn't born in the United States of America. So if you're consistent, you believe that's an issue, and you're a voter in a caucus, this should be something that concerns you. And maybe that's why Donald Trump's hitting on it right now.
Interesting. Mercedes, John McCain was born in the Panama Canal Zone.
Right.
And he could run for president.
That's right. Well, we know that most legal experts agree that this is a non-issue. In fact, you've had several people come out and say, several legal experts say this is a joke. But what is this about? This is about Donald Trump having Ted Cruz have to answer that question.
Right.
And it is a distraction for the Ted Cruz campaign because he's spending more time trying to defend the fact that he's a natural-born citizen than he is being able to talk about policies. And I think that becomes a big issue.
In a big way. Knocked them way off message.
Okay. Now, let's talk about Chris Christie, who right now, I don't know if we can take that shot again, but he's giving the state of New Jersey. I live in New Jersey. It's not that great, but it's not the worst place in the world. What I found interesting, Chris Christie has been to New Hampshire 29 times in his effort to really glean a lot of votes, yet he's still not placing in, I believe, 2 polls, a Monmouth poll and a Quinnipiac poll, a couple of others. He's still not placing in the top 5 here. What does that mean for Chris Christie?
I'm surprised he's not giving this speech from a diner in Concord right now and remoting in. But look, I think Chris Christie's their only hope in New Hampshire. I think it's kind of tough, though, to get through that Trump echo machine, which seems to really dominate the news. So, look, Chris Christie, I think he's done what he does well. He's gone to those town hall type meetings. He's talked to voters. He's got a lot of issues. He's got a lot of gumption out there on the trail. Okay. We'll see what happens.
Mercedes, a line on Chris, and then we got to get to Hillary and Bernie Sanders.
Well, I'd like to call this the State of the New Hampshire State Address. So this is going to be more about talking about his leadership, his ability to lead in a divided government. He has a lot of convincing to do, but again, New Hampshire is key for Chris Christie, or the race is done for him.
Okay, now to Hillary and Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders has legitimately pulled ahead in 2 polls, a Quinnipiac poll and in Iowa and a Monmouth poll in New Hampshire. This is a true fact, is it not, Chris? There is no crown on a prince or princess just yet for the Democratic nomination.
Well, look, I still think Hillary Clinton's the Democratic nominee by a mile. I do think the early states are always crazy. I think he'll win New Hampshire. I always thought he'd win New Hampshire. I still think she holds on in Iowa. She's got a great ground game in Iowa, and that really matters when you're trying to bring people out for a caucus in the middle of the winter.
Mercedes, quickly.
Well, I got to tell you, Hillary is going to make her votes, get her votes in the southern states. That is what she's looking at. That's where she's focused at. Interesting about Sanders, he gets so many small donors. So over 76% of the donations that come into Sanders' campaign are from small donors. But again, it's Hillary's to lose. I don't think Sanders is going to make it much further than Iowa and New Hampshire.
Listen, it's a crazy time. We appreciate you both coming here. Chris Hahn and Mercedes Schlapp. We've got the Dem, we've got the Republican. You guys are ordering wings and pizza for 2 days from now, the next GOP debate, Thursday.